We have more gunfire at a church this week, this time in Nashville at a Catholic church. As church workers were directing traffic, somebody fired a shot. They fired back. We're going to talk about what went right, what went wrong during this incident. We'll break it down, and like we always do, we're going to talk about what you can do if you were to encounter a similar incident. Our whole goal of Christian Warrior Training is to make you a better church safety team member, or if you are just concerned about safety while you're at church, this is the place for you. Hit like, subscribe, leave a comment. If you want church news weekly, if you want to know more about tips, tactics, and procedures for church safety, head over to ChristianWarriorTraining.com. I've got free training over there for you, along with that newsletter. All right, let's break down into this specific incident. Now, this is directly from Nashville, where we talked to the PIO, the Public Information Officer over there. Now, this happened at Our Lady of Guadalupe Catholic Church at 3112 Nolensville Pike. Late Saturday night, a man was passing by walking his dog, and he started yelling at volunteer workers on the property. Now, the volunteers were assisting with traffic for an evening mass at the church when they saw a man walking his dog westbound on Sunrise toward Nolensville. The volunteers said he walked by and he began yelling obscenities at them. While still in the roadway, the man removed a holstered pistol. In response, one of the volunteers pulled his gun. Now, the man that was walking his dog fired a shot into the ground, and the volunteer discharged a round into the pavement, which caused the man to run. Now, the man is believed to live in the immediate area, as he's been seen walking on prior evenings by the church team. His motive for confronting the volunteers in the church parking lot hasn't been determined yet. Let's talk about warning shots. Don't do them. Warning shots are not appropriate ever. If you ever in your plan of defense of the church or yourself had thought a warning shot may be feasible, no, don't do it. I became a cop in 1990. At no time was it ever okay for me to do warning shots. There are very few law enforcement agencies that actually allow warning shots, and the ones that do are really not in the norm. There's so much that can go wrong with a warning shot. Is a risk of inadvertent injury, not to the suspect. So warning shots, they can hear the church worker did it into the pavement. It couldn't have been a worse place to place a shot if you're going to do a warning shot. Some people think they can do a warning shot in the air. Let's start with the pavement. It can ricochet and inadvertently injure or kill somebody else. If it hits the man that fired a shot into the ground to begin with, that's okay. Deadly force is authorized in that incident anyways. Other people don't know what you're doing. They're wondering why you're shooting into the ground and not the suspect. But warning shots just all around are a bad thing. I can't emphasize this enough. If in your mind you thought you would give a warning shot at any time in your life, get it out of your head right now. Now let's go back. The man pulled his gun. Now it said it was holstered. Here you can see the picture of him right here. It easily could have been hidden in his waistband so they didn't see it coming. But the minute he draws a handgun, after yelling at you, pulling your gun is appropriate, and you're going to have to decide if deadly force is appropriate, and that's something only you can decide. If you feel that your life or the life of others are an imminent threat of great bodily injury or death, then so be it. Then you'll use deadly force. If he fires a round, even if it's into the ground, what makes you think he's not going to shoot you next? I can tell you right now, the minute he pulled that gun, now I wasn't there. I'm going off the press release from Nashville. But the minute he pulled his gun, I would think I would probably use deadly force at that point, because he's yelling at us for no apparent reason. And now he's pulling a gun on us. He's not doing it to show and tell. He's not showing it to us to be like, hey, check out my new gun. Now that I've got done yelling at you for no apparent reason, come check out my new pistol I just bought. No, man, he's there to hurt you. If he's there to intimidate, he found out, and he's going to pay the price for it, right? I'm not telling you to shoot the guy. I'm telling you that deadly force would be authorized if you felt that your life or the life of other people are in danger. But you have to make that decision. Him firing around in the ground just escalates everything. Now let's talk about what you should be doing if that occurs. A quick moment to let you know about a new class that I've got coming out on June 2nd, Gunshot Wound Response. It is part of our Trauma Tactics Series 1. It is being taught by a Special Operations Pararescueman. These are the guys that jump behind enemy lines to save our pilots. The Special Operations Pararescueman that I have coming in is fresh from a combat zone where he has been treating gunshot wounds for months. He has a lot of experience with field surgery and paramedicine in a combat environment. This guy's awesome. He is going to have a full day of treating gunshot wounds, which I think is super important for you to learn. It is going to be here in Boise, Idaho, at Boise Krav Maga. You have to register ahead of time. There are only a certain number of seats, and it is filling up fast. So if you want to go, you better sign up now before we run out of seats. I will put a link in the show notes or in the description below. Again, June 2nd, taught by a special operations pararescueman over at Boise Krav Maga in Boise, Idaho. I hope to see you there. So the man starts yelling at you and is obviously unhinged. You should start thinking about your plan about protecting everybody at the church. And so you should start thinking, I need to get the church workers out of the way in case this escalates, and start thinking about exit plans to get out of the area. When he fires the round, everybody should leave. Everybody. You decide if you're going to use deadly force or not. But part of what you're doing is that you withdraw and get out of the area and start moving your people inside. Now, I don't know if this was a church security team member that was out there doing traffic control, or if it was just a volunteer doing traffic control. But one of the first things you need, if you're a pastor and you're watching this, you need a safety team. It's more than just what the stuff I talk about here. I talk about the worst stuff that happens during the week. I don't talk about all the millions of things that happen at church that you need a safety team for, including fires. You're more likely to have a fire than you are to have an incident like this. You're more likely to have some kind of a medical emergency or something like that instead of this. And your safety team is going to be set up for that, for evacuating people out in a fire. They're going to be there in case somebody has a heart attack, a stroke, or something else, and start getting medical there and start taking care of them. Those are the things your safety team is going to more than likely do. I've yet to fire my gun at church, but I have done medical. I've had suspicious people that want to do harm to our pastor come in that I've had to escort out. We've had domestic incidents and stuff like that. That is the stuff that you're going to have. That's your bread and butter. And that's why you need a safety team for the pastors that are watching out there. If you had a safety team, they would have been watching the back of the people directing traffic, could have seen this man. It could have redirected his anger, start using de-escalation techniques, which we have that training for free over at ChristianWarriorTraining.com. I don't charge for it. You get a certificate when you're done. This is my gift to you as a fellow follower of Christ. I think it's what we need to do to keep our churches safe. Your safety team could have moved over, started de-escalating, asking him to continue to move on, or working with him or pray with him or whatever. And then if he does pull a gun and fire around, the safety team is there immediately to deal with it. The most important thing is that they train for incidents just like this. If you're a safety team watching this, put this into your scenario-based training roll-up. My guys, if you're watching this, you're going to see this one again. This is a great one to do. Your team is training firearms proficiency, de-escalation, all these things, instead of throwing a random round into the pavement. And I wonder where that bullet went. Look, you need a safety team that's professional, that trains more than just my online training, but actually does scenario-based training and prepares for everything. I hope this helps. Leave a comment and let me know. I read the comments. I may not be able to respond to everybody, but I do read most of the comments. The most important thing you can do is remember your ABCs. Always be carrying, but don't be throwing out the morning shots. That's just dumb. Don't do that.